Hi, Steve Mason. Here's a quick picture of the APT-E Kestrel and the 252001 original prototype HST, which we're still using to this date. So I'll allow my camera to make its adjustment. Technically speaking, Trevivik was the original inventor of the locomotive engine from Camborne, 1801-1802, never pursued the patent rights to it. George Stephenson's got all the recognition through his rocket, which you can see I've got there. We had the Candy Dancer and steam powered motor pulling engines that pulled China clay carts out of the mines and what have you. Basically pre World War II, which is the Stephenson's, which is this one. Then more famous for the A4, which is the same. This is a Sir Nigel Gresley one, which is the same as the Mallard that got the world record in 1938, I believe, at 126 miles an hour, fastest steam locomotive. Then as time progressed, and we moved on to there's the HST, the new HST. Then the Class 55 diesels and Class 37 diesels, other steam locos. But technically speaking, cut a long story short, the APT-E was never done by Hornby. They did the APT-P, which is a shortcut in the 70s, as when they developed the APT-E, technically speaking, it was £2 million prior to pre-decimalisation, which in today's monies is about 120 million in development. At the same time, we was working British Aerospace in building the Concorde and the Vulcan bomber. Meanwhile, the Americans and the Russians were more interested in getting to space and to the moon and everything. So technically speaking, in a nutshell, the APT was that advanced for its time that technically speaking, Hercules here was a 6-degree angle tilt. The government in the 70s, after decimalisation, cut corners and tried to electrify it, which was scrapped in 1981. Never gave the APT-E the recognition which it deserved, and technically wrote the APT-P off. And then further on, British Rail went into privatisation. Now, basically, the Pendolino, the TGV, and the new AVG, which is going to be I believe to be the new HS2 from Europe. And has turned out to be the fastest train at the moment in the world, faster than the Bullet from Japan, which is capable of 573.5 kilometers per hour, which is a derivative of the original APT-E. So technically speaking, this was originally built for West Country to go from Paddington to Penzance without overhead power lines. Now in today's means and terms, the same as they have done with the AVG, which is a new TGV that has now got the world record, faster than the Bullet, has technically derived from the APT from 1960s. 69 science and foundational basis. So technically speaking, all they needed to do, instead of spending billions on putting overhead power lines, all they needed to do was put gas turbine, bio diesel generators to generate its own electricity for electrical motors. So in today's day, instead of using gas turbine engines, they could put biodiesel engines within the APT-E and do away with the overhead power lines. But Hitachi have already worked on that, Japan, and we're ending up with the Voyager all the way down to Penzance. So technically speaking, the recognition of the trains that help build the world technically is all derived from Great Britain. The Americans and the whole world would never have been able to be built if it wasn't for the invention of Trevithick and then derived by George Stephenson's. So there's a little bit of history. In turn, I will on my next update, I'll be showing footage of the APT on my layout, along with the Candy Dancer, George Stephenson's rocket, Sir Nigel Gresley pre-war, Sir Nigel Gresley A4 equivalent to Mallard A4. I'll be showing the diesels and the HST, and then basically the original APT-E, which I kicked off with Hornby for some time, that they never made it. Why didn't they ever make it? National Railway Museum twinned up with Rapido trains, and now they've gone ahead and done it finally, after nearly say 46 years, something like that. So basically, so in that order, the APT-E, then the APT-P, and we can show the TGV, but they ain't brought the AVG out in model scenario just as yet. So there you go. Thank you. Bye.